They were asleep, and so the dogs couldn't bark, and so the people made no tracks where their feet touched the ground. We had great leaders back then, leaders who could make a miracle, who knew the old instructions. There won't be any more leaders like that. I'll be dead, dead forever.
With obvious reluctance, he returns the cane.
Bring it back when you don't need it anymore.
Years later, in 1989, we honor his request, returning the sorcerer's cane to the Seminole tribe of Florida in honor of Buffalo Jim. James Billy, chairman of the tribal council, arranges a poignant ceremony in a large chickee at Big Cypress. Once again, Buffalo lays the sorcerer's stick across his knees. His fingers lovingly stroke the time-burnished wood. With a fingernail, he traces the carved reptile on the handle. He speaks again of Wildcat.
He could throw this stick on the ground, it would turn into a snake, and then he could turn it back into a stick. He had that power, sometimes for good, sometimes for bad.
After the ceremony, Chairman Billy asked Buffalo to do some medicine on the cane to ward off any evil influences that might still be lurking in it. Before we leave, Buffalo also prepares for us a jar of cold tea made of bitter root and various leaves and herbs. He has us drink some of it and instructs us to splash the remainder over our heads and bodies for the next 3 days.
That old sorcerer might have worked some spell into the cane.
No doubt Wildcat had had little use for white men. Shortly before his death in 1857, he had said, "I may be buried in the earth or sunk in water, but I shall go to the spirit of my sister and live with her. Game is plentiful there, and there the white man is never seen." As we drive away from Big Cypress at nightfall down the dark expanse of Alligator Alley, a sense of well-being warms us, a vibrant inner awareness that we've had a personal part in bringing that cane back home, where it wanted to be, where it insisted on being. We feel at peace now with the sorcerer who made it, but are thankful nonetheless for Buffalo Jim's jar of protective medicine, fresh from the Everglades. Tom Porter, Mohawk. Tom Porter, Mohawk chief of the Bear Clan at Akwesasne, New York, tells this true story about following the advice of the old ones.
My grandmother was a seer. She came to me when I was 17 or 18, already at the age when my cousins were trying to take me to beer joints and stuff like that. My grandmother was against that. She said, "If you care anything about me, you won't drink alcohol." Well, of course, I loved my grandmother, and there was no way I was going to shame her. I told her I didn't do much drinking and didn't intend to start. She looked at me. She had a way of looking when she wanted to talk about important things. "Come here," she said. "There's something you've been thinking about pretty heavy." So I sat there at her table. She took a cup of green tea, and she said, "We're going to find what's the problem, so it doesn't turn into an even bigger problem." She looked down into the cup, and her eyes opened wide, like she could see things in there, secret things about the future. Now, my grandmother, when she was inspired, always made a special sound. It sounded like, "Oh, wow." If the inspiration wasn't there, you wouldn't hear that sound. But if she was really inspired, you'd hear, "Oh, wow," like that. So this time, I knew it was really important because she held a cup of tea and stared down into it and said, "Oh, wow." She looked at me with that look. "So you're thinking about looking for women now, huh?" She looked down in the cup again. "Oh," she said, "I can see a bunch of them in there. And that's what you've been thinking about now. Women." Then she got a worried look on her face. She pointed into the teacup. "All kinds of women. But if you get the wrong one, you're going to have big trouble. You've got to be careful." She squinted her eyes and pointed her finger into the cup. "Now," she said, "right here, look at this one. A pretty girl, nice complexion, just like a doll. She's got a nice shape, nice curly hair. This girl will come over where you're standing and rub her chest up against your shoulder. And when she does, oh, you won't know whether you're standing there frontwards or backwards, because a woman has power, especially a pretty woman. Well, you can say hello to her, but don't go much further than that, because if you do, you're going to regret it. You'll cry every day for the rest of your life if you get serious and marry that girl. So watch out for her. Then my grandmother pointed back in the teacup and said, "Oh, here's another one. She's a little taller with straight hair. She'll rub her legs on your legs, and you won't know nothing anymore but that lovely pair of legs. She looks like she's good, but she's only good for a little while. Then she's going to jump on your back, and she's going to pull your hair, and you're going to cry if you hook into that one." Again, my grandmother pointed in the cup. "Oh, and here's another one, with a good shape, but a little bit heavy. And she really likes to laugh. She's going to hold your hand and swing you around. This one's going to take you to bed right away, but you watch out, she's a joker. She don't know how to be a mother, or how to cook, or how to sew. She don't know how to do nothing. She's a dancer, and party, 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 dance, have fun, and laughter. That's all she's good for, so don't pay any attention to her." Now my grandmother looked down into the teacup again and swirled the dregs real hard. And then she said, "Oh, here's one, but gee, she's only about that tall. This one's got black hair, jet black hair, and she sits on her hair when she sits down. Oh, she's got a nice shape too, small but nice. She's standing all alone on the road, and she's not going to jump on you. She can cook anything, real Indian food too. She can sew your clothes out of nothing, fix your stocking, and she likes to work all the time. She doesn't like to talk much. She's the one for you." I asked my grandmother, where does she live? Does she live over in Snai, or St. Regis, or Cornwall, or maybe Racket Point? My grandmother said, "No, she's not from this place. She comes from quite a distance from here." "Well," I said, "she must be an Onondaga girl. Is she Onondaga?" "No," my grandmother said, "it's way towards where the sun goes down. You wait for that one. But it's not going to be next month, not next year, not 2 years. It's going to go maybe up to 10 years. But if you can wait for that one, you will never cry all your married life. And you'll be happy. You'll never fight. You will have a perfect life together, if you can just wait. And when you see this girl, she'll be walking on the road, and you will know her just like that. You will know that's the one." Well, just like she said, that's how it happened. I met the girl who was laughing and laughing all the time. I met the one who put her chest on my shoulder, and I met the one who rubbed my legs with hers. I met them all. And I just narrowly escaped every one of them. I was supposed to get married 3 times, and each time, as it came close, it never came about. Mostly because of my belief in the Longhouse religion, the old religion. 2 of the girls were Christian. One was even Longhouse, but she wouldn't commit the way I was committed. So I didn't marry any of them. I just waited. Years went by, and I thought maybe I'd never marry. Finally, one day, some guys and me were driving a mobile home down to Oklahoma to have a meeting with Choctaws.
Soldiers